and they had all that smoke and all that sand from the fountain coming in that community. And he had a car, and they have a garage, all that stuff in the car, man.
Mr. Bryant, like 2 minutes. Mr. Bryant, 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. The video go run, then we go right in like 2 minutes.
Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like arsonist, sauce in it. We light it up like arsonist, sauce in it. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like arsonist, sauce in it. We light it up like arsonist, sauce in it. Rainmaker, cover for this, cover charge. Pain cover, cells to be strong for. No side slow, prison bids, and I'm better for it. Representing Fli-City, now make some noise. Random corners, pushing packs. Looking back, hand up, saying see me pass. Fli-City got a city tax. Body bags, ski mags. Crying ways to speak to God. City giving rich vibes. Beat knocks to the speaker box. We don't speak a lot, just move around. Water dirty, streets dirty, whip clean. Lion King, the jungle seems like peace to me. Struggle, sled, and victories, not back to me. 6 months out, I'm on my feet. On the business, talks with Maddie, on the business. Run the city, league with all the owners in it. Minus since we bless the city with orange and open finish. All that is open to us, just push lane. This crooked man, and we straighten out, they carry down. North side, south side, east side, west side, peace signs. We try to get this east side, get west side, north side, south side, east side, west side, Fli-City, south side, east side, west side. Some dogs in it, dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic.
Now don't get
like arsonist, sauce in it. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic. We light it up like arsonist, sauce in it. Light it up like arsonist, sauce in it.
Fli-City experiencing the transition from penny pinch to pigeon. Maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came a long way from baby jars in a project kitchen. Now
You ready? You ready, Mr. Bryant?
Just mind my business. All praise to the Most High, how this young king living. Resurrecting the spirit of Osiris, how I'm living. Hustle and motivate your local hope dealer. I'm on tour right now, and I'm dope with it. Still in crisis mode.
It's just be a general conversation. Nayyirah is set up, ready to come in, and we just be talking about the Gloria Coles. They also some of the background history you were talking about. So there's a real natural conversation. Okay.
Better back, no 9 to 5 on the 10 to 4. A city of monsters, a bunch of go-getters. We don't rock with starters, we too authentic.
Authentic starters, we too authentic.
We don't rock with
starters, we too authentic. Authentic starters, we too authentic. We don't rock with 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 starters, we too authentic.
Let's hear it. All right. Happy Black History Month. We want to definitely start off with that and paying tribute to, all our soldiers of the culture, everybody who wear this honorable skin, right? Everybody who paid or may contribute to the process of us being liberated, right? And just really just giving reverence to our, our legends, right? And I'm more important. I'm more versed on giving our flowers while we're here. And we got some legendary figures that's been in the community, not only in our local community, nationally, all around. So when you get a chance to sit on big stages with folks, man, who have been doing this work before you was born, that means a lot, right? You know what I'm saying? I was just listening to the brother give a background history of some of the things of some prominent members that came out of the shop that went on to be elected officials in the city of Flint, right? They learned a number of different trades and a number of different measures and how to work the room, all by that training of coming up from the grassroots level. So for me, it's very inspiring. but then also is motivational to continue to keep going. So this is a Black History program, and we have none other than a historical figure here in the city of Flint, the founder of the African American Sports Museum, or the Sports Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. Just a big champion, a wealth of knowledge. Somebody has been on the front line and continue to keep working for the youth and everybody coming up behind them. Definitely, man. Let's give a big round of applause for Mr. Bryant Norman. How you doing there, good brother?
Good.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to be here.
Good
to be here, man.
See?
Thank you very much.
Man, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. And so definitely, and then we also have a special guest too. And this young warrior has been on the front line with the Water Warriors. We have made strides with the Black Lives Matter movement, right? Just continue to keep rising up in Flint. Let's make some noise for none other than our queen, Nayyirah Shariff. So,
Amen.
Headphones on. Okay, let's put our headphones on. Right. Yep. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Can you hear us, Nayyirah? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there she go right there, Brother Bryant.
That's her. Looking good. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yep, there she go, looking good. You heard that, Nayyirah. What's up?
I'm just Baba Bryant's background singer right now.
Now listen, we just was just talking about just the history of Flint, right? When you're talking about just continue to being engaged with good folks who are doing the work. And my thing is aligning myself with I always align myself with people who are doing the work, right? People who embody this effort of continue to moving forward in progression and liberation, reparations, right? Those are some powerful words, but more importantly, they're powerful when in action. So when you're around folks, man, let's continue to keep digging out, right? Continue to day in, day out, grinding, making things shake, making things happen, formulating and shifting for the future. That's big shoes for us to fill coming up. So, I definitely, I want to dig right in. So, Mr. Bryant, you're legendary here in the Flint community. And I don't even think you got a lot of young people that be on the broadcast, just a lot of young people in general. Please give us some insight and some understanding of some of the work that you have contributed to over the years, so they kind of get some type of gist about you.
Well, let me just say this. To me, I tell people, I even tell my minister, can't nobody preach your funeral, you live your funeral. So
That's right.
once you go, from the time you come to find you leave here, if you don't do nothing in the middle, can't nobody talk about you. So I'm busy all the time trying to let young people know about Black history.
Mm-hmm.
And, to me, I'm trying to put up a museum.
Yes, sir.
In Metropolitan Church. See, years ago, Black folks didn't have a place to meet. The only place they had to meet was the church. They had to have the service in the church, had their meetings in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get a museum. And one of the things, and I'm inviting the public, if you're listening, go down to Metropolitan and see, I got a Black Jesus, a painting of Black Jesus. I have never seen, nobody can never show me in the Bible where they said Jesus had blue eyes.
Yeah, I never saw that.
Never seen it. It tells me he had hair like lamb's wood and feet like polished bread. But one lockout, he made a picture. I got a beautiful picture, and I had Lawrence Moon enlarged it for me. I got it right there on display all of this month for Black History Month, Black Jesus. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. We need to be proud of who we are. And when I first came to Flint, I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Dewey School up there on Saginaw, not too far from here. I went to Dewey School, and I learned in the 4th grade that Jacob Smith was the first white settler to settle in Flint, married a Chippewa Indian. But nobody told me that my wife's great-grandfather, Albert Harrod, had a barbershop on the corner of Kersley and North Saginaw in 1870. And not only did he have a barbershop there, but he was a member of Court Street Methodist Church. But back during those times, Black folks had to sit in the balcony. They couldn't sit on the main floor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why they built Quinn Chapel AME Church. I tell people all the time, I hope my God don't have a balcony in heaven. Because, we all God's children.
Now, so one thing for sure, You worked on capturing a museum, and it's currently being held. This is a Black museum with Black Jesus.
Black Jesus.
Black Jesus. Let's make sure we point that out. We got a Black Jesus. Black Jesus. Want to ensure that we go check that out at Metropolitan Church.
Right, and you don't have to go on Sunday. You can go through the week. Ring that
Mhm.
doorbell. The secretary's in there. She'll let you go and see the display.
Mhm.
It ain't all about. A lot of people say, "Well, I don't know if I can make it this Sunday." It ain't about Sunday. We have to start looking at ourselves 365 days out of a year.
Yes, I respect that. Right, it's not just for the month of February that we celebrate Black History Month. We Black 365, and you can't talk about history unless you talk about Black history, right? And so when you talk about our original contribution to civilization, you talking about us being original people of this world. You talk about us being the original founders of mathematics, astrology, politics, right? When you talk about the justice system, all those things is what we put in place and what was designed off of our ancient mythologies.
And that's the same way I tell people all the time, we can do this because the white man taught us, and that's what's hurting. That's what's hurting us right now. Because anytime you learn, see, we can outdo him.
Mhm.
See, anytime you learn, and that's one of the reasons why I was telling earlier how we got all those city council people downtown. See, it used to be before you could get anything passed on the city council, you had to have 5 votes.
Correct.
Well, we got more than that now, but see, Floyd McCree was the first Black on the city council down there.
Mhm.
And as one Black, he got more done than all the rest of them doing right now. And I think the reason why, now don't get me wrong, and we got good people down there, and don't get me wrong, but I think the reason why he was so effective as a person of one is because the UAW trained him. He was a shop committeeman, and Fred Tucker was a shop committeeman. They knew how to bargain. They knew how to negotiate.
Mhm.
They were articulate and could hold a meeting. And this means a lot. Now, what happens is now they brought that experience to City Hall with them. The people that's getting on City Hall now don't have some of them don't have that type of experience. So the experience they're getting, we have to live through that. We have to suffer through that. But the bottom line is this: is that we have got to start teaching our youngsters who we are and whose we are.
And it start with brothers like you, brothers and sisters like you, that's been out there on the front line, that has a host of information and knowledge about the culture within our community, but just in general about us as Black people. And then also young people want to be geared up to be able to listen to these stories of, our historical figures, but then also try to get understanding of the Floyd McCrees, right? The Woodrow Stanleys, right?
Right.
All the Fred Tuckers, right? The people that, you may not necessarily heard of, or you may have known, but you heard their names.
Yeah, Fred Robinson, he was attorney here.
Fred Robinson,
civil
attorney.
rights man. Yeah,
That's family. So
yeah, but we just got to tell our folks about them so they'll know who they are,
mhm.
and we shouldn't have to guess about our ancestors and the people who come along before us. That should be a household thing. Every household to know that. Like I tell you, the Jewish community, every Jew in the world know about the Holocaust, and we ought to know about Black folks because we built this city. We built this city.
Yeah, I agree. What's your takes on the Nayyirah? What you feeling about Black history and the history of Flint, the rich history of Flint?
For me, like Black history is every single day is like when I wake up because like we are descendants of the folks who survived like through like horrific like things and like always like growing up like my parents was just like regular folks and like we to me like books were like the ticket to the world, a ticket to our history. And like I learned about Black history through reading and going down with my dad to the Shrine of the Black Madonna down in Detroit and like to Chicago and to like the Black Muslim bookstores like in like Kalamazoo and Chicago, Detroit. And like that's basically like was like the like the grounding of me just knowing about like Black people and the diaspora and
Yes.
all of the ways of like how Black people have continuously, like strive for liberation, throughout the centuries, like on the continent and within the United States.
Oh yeah, actually, that's that right there. It was because of folks that was before us that took time with us to really educate us. And so when we talk about that, I think it make me think of folks like Mrs. Deloney, folks like Mr. Bryant. They're always available to tell you about these stories and this history because it's important to pass down. And so we didn't have folks that was whether it's parents or grandparents to be able to give us this insight, this information, then we wouldn't know what's going on. But it's so important for us to protect our heritage and protect our traditions, continue to keep telling our stories and be the narrators behind it, and making sure that our people know what's going on. And so that's our job now. Like Nayyirah, I see us as, the young people coming up. It's our responsibility and our roles to become knowledgeable about us, knowledgeable about our circumstances and how we got here, but then also working with the folks that's coming up to be able to divine, kind of really design what's coming up after. So this is good conversation. This is good building for
Well,
us.
see, one of the things that got me interested in politics was Elizabeth Taylor's father, Ernest Taylor. He used to have a lot of politicians come to his store. See, Elizabeth's father had one of the only Black grocery stores up on the North End at one time. And Attorney Young was our first state representative. And he used to come through the store all the time. He's a regular person. But, it's so much history to be learned about Flint. Black folks have done. But the only thing that what the white folks used to promote is sports. But we go a little further than sports, But the thing about it is, if we keep learning where we came from, and we keep learning our history, we can turn this thing around. But you got to know about yourself.
No, I think that's kind of where we going. And even also when we honor ourselves, I love what we're doing with this initiative when we're talking about renaming the Flint Public Library, because when you talk about having these structures around our community, I love to see our names on it. Right, we definitely will have a Mr. Norman Bryant building coming down the pipeline. We definitely have a Nayyirah Shariff building coming down the pipeline. Right, those things is fascinating, but it preserves the history, and then it also tells a story as well. So with this initiative of renaming the Flint Public Library, right, it's a community group that's mobilizing to honor Miss Gloria Coles, who is the first Black director of the Flint Public Library. Right. Mainly the reason why we still have a Flint Public Library. So I want to talk to you all about that and the accomplishment Miss Gloria Coles has made towards the Flint community, but then also about this initiative that we're pushing from the community.
Well, one of the reasons why Gloria is a very good friend of mine, because at one time I was president of the Flint School Board. Yeah. And at that time, Gloria was on my executive committee on the board. See, the school district owned the library, cultural center, and WFBE radio station at one time. But it got to the point where we would, money, we was having problems with money. And so we had to give all that stuff up. We had to sell the radio station. And the library went on its own, and the cultural center went on its own. But Gloria Coles made it possible to keep that library open. And one of the reasons why I will never forget her as long as I live. See, I always have to remember things about people that has done something good in this community. We was at Burston Fieldhouse when we started off with the Greater Flint African American Sports Hall of Fame. We ran out of room because we didn't have one little room up there. We were trying to put 12 by 24 plaques on the wall. I asked Gloria, she said, well, Mr. Bryant, why not come over to the library and use our basement? We were over there for 27 years at the public library because of Gloria Coles, because she came to my rescue. But that's the type of person she was. And when you in charge, we're supposed to do this. We're supposed to do this. And a lot of times I was talking to E. Hilda Loney, and she said, we got to tell the people who Gloria Coles is. Yeah. I said, no, we just got to get to those board members and change their minds, because one of the things I remember about, and see, all of even the mayors, black mayors, that people have done things in Flint. One of the things that I remember about Woodrow Stanley is that we used to have a zoo in Flint.
When?
Yeah, we had a zoo in Flint called Dewey Woods. We used to walk down from class to see all the animals, man.
Yeah,
and then
the neighborhood dogs and cats and squirrels.
No. I'm talking about the bears and all that stuff, man. We had them all, deers. We had them all. We had a beautiful zoo, man. But what happened was, if you go north and west of Saginaw, you don't see no parks. That's what anything. That's where all the white folks were. The parks was, you know. Then they named it Forest Park. Right. But when Woodrow got in office, he renamed that Max Brennan Park. See, when you got power, you can do them things. Yeah. Now, we can't sit back and talk about it. You know, I had a friend of mine used to come in the barbershop. And he had an old saying, and his name was Charlie Walker. We used to all respect Charlie. Yeah. But Charlie used to always come in there and he tell us, boy, he said, talk is cheap, but it takes money to buy good whiskey. So we need to make that change. Now, don't be talking about make the change. We're in position, you know.
Hey, I love that energy right there. Brother Brian saying, man, we ain't got to wait on nobody.
No, we ain't got to change. Get them members, make them board members change. They're the one to make the change. Then we can tell them about Gloria Coles. So let's make the change now. They can do that.
Yeah, them board members is definitely, you know, can make the change, right?
There you go.
And then too, I think it's our job, our due diligence in spreading education and information about Miss Gloria, because, you know, when I start, you know, really kind of learning more about Miss Gloria Coles and the work that she's done, and the placements that she's made over there at the Flint Public Library right now. Currently, the folks who are on staff was a lot of her hirees.
That's right. And the other thing too, people are saying, well, you know, like they do wait till somebody after they die and make a name for them. No, you don't wait till they die. I'm just like a friend of mine came to me one time and he went to a wake and they had all these flowers. This guy was well known. I mean, they had all kind of flowers. This guy brought in a pot of beans and some cornbread, and the guy looked up there and he said, man, what you doing with the beans and cornbread? He said, that man's dead. He can't eat that. He said, if he can smell them flowers, he can eat my cornbread and beans. You know? But the bottom line, we ain't got to wait till something happened to somebody. Let's do it. Give the flowers while they can smell them.
Come on now. You know what? That's real though. You know, don't tell me about all the appreciation that, you know, that was done when I'm gone. I can't even I can't hear or listen or even appreciate it.
Let's do it now.
Let's do it now. That brings me to, like, even when you talk about now, like, even, you know, with the loss of Mr. Woodrow Stanley, you know, that was so sudden because actually he was working on this initiative with us as well. So it was just sudden that, you know, he passed away. And, you know, I just want to make sure that we were able to go ahead and honor him in the best way possible.
Well, Woodrow served 3 terms. And to do that, you know, you had to be doing something for this community. But the bottom line is this, is that we have to remember our own. And if we're in position to do that, then that's the time to do it. Because if we are not in position to do it, it's not going to get done.
No, it's not.
It ain't going to get done.
We got to stop all that, you know, even when it comes down to honoring folks, you know, we really got to appreciate people and do it with a genuine heart.
Right.
And not just do it just because, but you honestly valuing and loving one another, you know, and that shows in your action how you treat each other. You know, we be out here doing this work, and sometimes people are putting out their all into it, right? They're dedicating the time, their talents, their resources, and, you know, sometimes it feel like you're undervalued. Like I felt Wood when, you know, and I'm being honest, when they put that recall on Wood, I was so it was hurtful to see us recall our own people like that. You know, and that's something that we gotta stop and nip that in the bud. We can't be doing that type of stuff.
Well, we got to teach it. We got to teach our folks, you know, it's all in a learning process, and we just don't do that. But the bottom line is this, is that when if it's a white man in trouble, they come to his rescue. And we got to learn. We got to learn how to do that. Look what all he's done. You know, and I knew Woodrow down through the years. You know, and just like I say, he used to come to our Hall of Fame. But what I'd like to do too is this: is invite. You know, I was telling you about the display I got in Metropolitan Church, but I also put a display up at Burston Fieldhouse. So you know, you get a chance, go down there and see all those athletes that we got. And it would be nice if we could get at some point to get some of these athletes that make all this money to try to just give a little something back. You ain't got to give much, just give a little bit.
Man, y'all should make a percentage that y'all should give back every year. We got Monty Morris, we got JaVale McGee. You got a number of brothers in the league right now, right? We need y'all support, especially when folks is still out in the communities where you come from, still working on behalf of the people and still developing those young folks, man, that's coming up that want to play ball and want to get signed here later on down the line. We need all the contributions we can get.
And what we're doing too is, let me just elaborate on that just a little bit. You know, these plaques, when you put plaques up, you run out of room. So the library did a renovation. So we had to take those plaques and take them down, and they're in storage right now. But what we are doing is we're using a kiosk with a touch screen on it, you know.
Mhm.
And these kids know how to operate that. All you have to do is you go to the kiosk and touch in the name, say Joe Blow. Joe Blow's picture come up there, and everything he's ever done in sports will come up on a big wall. So we don't have to worry about plaques no more. So if we could get, you know, even some past inductees or some past athletes to help us just to get some of these kiosks so that we can put them up here on the north end. So our kids will know what they've done and how they've helped out the city.
You know what, man? So and they moving to a new generation. You talking about the kiosk? I like that kiosk idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You just kind of tap it in and it come right up on the screen. Folks.
There you go. We got to move with the kid with the time. So I'm old school, but I do a little texting.
Say, what else you be doing? You be texting?
Oh yeah, I be texting
emails.
Yeah, I send an email too.
Are you on Facebook?
No, I ain't got that yet. See, because that Facebook thing, people tell a whole lot of things. I'm gonna take to the grave with me. It ain't going on Facebook.
Hey, you right there. You right about that. I'm with that. I'm with that for sure. Nah, definitely. Anytime, man. Anytime you need, you know, I'm definitely, you know, working however you need. I can support you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, man. I really do.
Big shout out to Stephanie.
Oh yeah,
daughter, because she does a lot of help on the back end with the technology.
Okay, well that's good. My daughter does a lot. She does all that Facebook.
Yeah.
She gets me lined up on
Come on
stuff. Yeah.
Come on, y'all elders need us young folks too. We good for something.
Oh yeah, no, I got to do that. I got to give her props. You know, my daughter's right there for me all the time.
Come on.
You know, I got 4 daughters. I love them all.
Oh man, look at it, man. You a dad girl.
Oh yeah, man. All of them they all got degrees from all different colleges, man. But I'm right there for them all the time.
Man, come on, man. Listen,
right there for them all the time, man. Worked hard.
Come on.
Sit back now and kind of rejoice,
man. Man, I can't wait to get into that vibe. You know, my baby's running and doing their thing. I got some teenagers, so you know they actually are moving and growing and going about life and finding out what they want to do. And I'm trying to be at least somewhat of a guide and make sure I leave a legacy just as you did.
Well, you know, I had 2 of them graduate from Michigan State. I'm a Michigan State man. See, Michigan State. Yeah, they recruited me at one time, and I didn't go. I went out to Arizona, but I got 2 graduates from state, one from Central Michigan, and one stayed here in town. I couldn't get rid of her. She graduated from mine.
She wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
You got to have one of them with you.
Yeah.
Keep one. Did you play ball when you was coming up?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, tell me about that. What type of numbers you was putting up?
Well, I wasn't putting out a whole lot of numbers, but I was on the winning team. Yeah, we won the city, Valley, and one game from being undefeated in all state. One game, one game, man. But the bottom line is this: is that I ran on state track championship team and track. Matter of fact, the guy went out to Arizona with Leon Burton.
Mm-hmm.
He led the nation in rushing in 1957 from Arizona, man. Okay. Arizona Sun Devils.
Okay.
I played for Dandelion.
Leon Burton.
Leon Burton, yeah. His brother was Tony Burton, used to be the actor in Rocky.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that's his brother. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we all went to school together.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. That's a fun fact. It's a fun fact. Big shout out to all the legends back there that put it down in that winning team, right? That went almost undefeated. Now we gotta get some. We in our community we talk about some real wins, right?
Yeah.
Just like we talking about going undefeated. A real win for this community is getting Miss Gloria Coles' name on that library.
Right.
As you just made mention to before, we have to have majority of the board members in support.
There you go. The
Right.
board. We got to hit them board members. If you know any board member on the library board, give them a call. And better yet, let's go high tech. Give them a
Come on.
text. Give them a text.
Come on.
Yes, sir. Give them a text.
Give them a text.
Oh yeah, let them text them out a little
You
bit. Yeah.
You can go to the Flint
All we have
Public
to do
Library
is hit
website.
and I was talking to E. Hill Deloney. I say, and she was talking about we got to do this about Gloria. I say, you need to get the right people.
Yeah, hit the right people.
Matter of fact, I'm when I go home, I pass down Pasadena. I pass by the Genesee County Library, and they got the library named after a guy by the name of Deloney. So I stopped in there one day. I say, how did he get his name up on that?
Yeah.
They said the library board, they voted it on that. So the board. So I'm just telling the people, you got to get to the right people, the right source.
You got to get to the right source. So I know our strategy, and we have spoken and connected with the Flint Public Library Board of Directors. And for majority, we've had, good support from the board. Nayyirah, what's some of our next action items and our next steps into making this a reality?
Well, there is a library board meeting. It's usually the first Thursday of the month. So that will be next week. and yeah, like we really need to make sure that like Gloria Coles is honored, because just thinking about like some of the things that she did, like in addition to ensuring that like there was a library millage that we still pay for, because it has come up a couple of times for renewal. And just thinking about like how she, like for folks of us who are younger, like the mobile library, like that was something that she instituted. And then the fact that there was like world-class thinkers coming to the Flint Public Library to speak. Like, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Can Bob and Bryant hear me? Okay. I just wanted to make sure that like I'm not just talking. Nobody can hear me.
No, you can you hear it now?
No, she's real low. It's real low.
Okay, let me see. Okay, go ahead, Nayyirah.
Oh yeah, but like having like the recently transitioned like Bill Hooks and like Manny Marble, and like for y'all who've never read How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, like that's a classic. So yeah, like
yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, like trying to like just like things like that, like we have to make sure, and then like really create like a whole culture of just like
Nayyirah,
we want young people.
What I did is I've talked to 3 board members, library board members, and they've all agreed. Okay, but my thing is this: when I was on the school board, we had 9 members on the school board. I made sure that I got me 5 members to support my cause before I took it to the floor. And if we can get these board members to support us, we should be able to pull this thing off.
So that's been kind of the conversation.
Yeah.
Can you tell me that? Yeah. Can you hear me good, Nayyirah?
Yeah, I could hear y'all fine. Like I never had a problem hearing.
Okay, well, I had on I was having a little problem, but we all right now.
Okay.
Now, if we get to, my main thing is this,
I just can't hear her.
is I learned a long time ago, you don't go into no meeting if you don't have your votes counted before you get there.
It's true.
And I never forget one lesson I learned real good. I had 5 votes. I went in there and somebody got to my 5th vote. And when they got in, he slid back on me and I lost that deal. But from now on, I try to get 6 or 7, depending on how many is on that board. But if we do our homework, we get this thing done. Because Gloria Coles is a very good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. She helped me out when I needed help.
So can we, just so for the sake of the audience, can we kind of highlight some of those accomplishments from Miss Gloria Coles to kind of give reverence to some of the impact she's made?
I know when the library is about to close because of that millage, she put that millage together with perpetuity where we can go back every year now and get that. So she kept the library open by getting that passed. I do know that.
So
She's good people. Gloria's good people. And she helped my Hall of Fame. Now you know I got to go along with Gloria. Yeah, she helped my Hall of Fame.
She helped the African American Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. She also made a way to ensure that the Flint Public Library was able to be here and to stay.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
And also she's hired a number of the personnel over there at the Flint Public Library currently who are in position right now is because of her.
Right. She done a lot.
And she's,
in other words, when you go over there, you see the fruits of her labor.
That's right, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
Coles is good people. I like Gloria. She's all right. Good people. Good people.
We sending you love, Gloria. And Gloria is a very modest woman.
Yes, she is. She really is.
She's just very overwhelmed and just thankful that the community has took charge of this project and just kind of making this a reality. So she's just overjoyed.
That's right. So all we have to do is show her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, give the people the flowers where they can smell them now.
Come on now. Come on.
That's what I do.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Nayyirah,
I believe in that. That I believe in.
Mm-hmm. I believe in it too.
Yeah.
When you start living.
When I speak at a person's funeral, people get up and talk about their stories. But did you tell them when they could hear it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe in giving them what. Give them the flowers now. That's the way I look at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Gloria deserves every bit of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she deserves every bit of it. I just hope. I know we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen because I've talked to some people on the board. They say, Norm, these are the names you need to talk to. And I talked to everybody they told me I need to talk to. So I did. See, don't cost me nothing to talk.
That's right.
I'm good at talking. I don't mind talking.
You're really good at that.
Yeah, I don't mind talking. You can't say but two things, yes or no.
You got this shop negotiation.
Yeah, you can't tell
strategy too.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. See, that's why I'm saying is that we have to instruct our kids. We have to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, we beating the white man in his own game. We beating him at his game.
We are.
And that's why he has to stop us.
Mm-hmm.
See, anytime you come out and tell about you're gonna take the books off the shelf, stop talking about history. How you gonna do away with history?
See, that's something, that's a game and a ploy that they try to make.
That's what they want to do.
They don't want to feel ashamed about what their ancestors done to other groups of people. Mm-hmm. But what we need to do is put that out there on the front line. We have to shame them for doing that stuff to people, man. Are you crazy?
Because this young generation, you know, they ain't gonna stand for that.
Oh man, come on.
They ain't gonna stand for that. The young generation, they ain't gonna stand for what we stand for.
Yeah, man, my grandfather called me.
I mean,
I'm proud of it. Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's about. And you're right. This generation now.
Matter of fact, I can remember, I'll never forget. My oldest brother was the first one to get his degree in the family. And
which one, Bud?
No, Bunyan.
Bunyan?
Yeah.
Okay.
University.
And Bunyan and Dr. Bunyan Bryant, like legend for environmental justice.
Environmental justice, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, legend.
He's getting awards from all over, even right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, was raised up right in Flint, man. Went to the Flint school, graduated from Flint North in 1953.
A product of Metropolitan, too.
Yeah, it sure is, man. But that's why I'm saying we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it, man. That's one reason why I tell them all the time. As far as I'm concerned, I tell my kids, and like my dad didn't have a formal education.
Okay.
But it's one thing he used to tell me all the time. And I guess that's why I was so good in sports, man. It's because he told me, say, I'm going to tell you one thing, son.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you got to be twice as good as a white man. You got to be twice as good. Now, when I'm out there on that field, now that guy, he's just as good a shape as I am.
Yes.
But mentally, I got this on him. I got this on him mentally. You ain't going to get my shot.
Come on now.
No.
Come on.
I'm a fighter, man.
Man, listen.
My dad told me that you got to be twice as good. I know what I had to do.
And listen, that same energy is same way you on the sports field with that, the same way as we need in the boardrooms.
There you go.
Right? When you challenging them, right? And when you
There you
addressing them, right? And you right, this generation is so different.
And
than
see, the reason why I
what it
know
was
we can
before.
beat them at their own game, when I was in the shop,
Mhm.
I was in the union for 8 years. I was a
Okay.
committee man out there. What General Moses would do is go around and then they made me a foreman. See, they pick up because they knew I knew the contract. See,
Mhm.
they wanted me on their side. So I went with the money. Okay, but the bottom line,
Was you a
is that-
salary or you hourly?
I retired as salary.
But you started off on
On
hourly.
hourly, yeah, 8 hours,
That's right.
8 years. I spent 23 years on salary.
Were you in the what is it, the foundry?
No. I was out V8 engine plant. I was making motors, man.
Oh, you was making most.
But the bottom line is this: is that's why I'm saying we beat them at their own game.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's all about.
So as an elder, where do you see us? Where do you see the Black community today? And with all the challenges and tribulations and social determinants of health for Black people, where do you see us? Where we are today and where we need to be in the future?
Here's what I look at like this: we've got to start teaching.
Okay.
We've got to start teaching. See, it's one thing about when you teach, you learn something. You can't take away what you learn, man. You can't take away what you learn.
Mhm.
And when I hear these people talking about they're gonna take books off the shelves, stop teaching about Black history, then you need to be concerned. We need to make it. See, matter of fact, I don't even know what the NAACP is on stuff like that. We need to be fighting, man. That's something to fight for, man.
That is definitely something to fight for.
That's something to fight for.
You're absolutely right. We need all hands on deck.
And where are they? You know, we
Mhm.
need to be. See, years ago they used to have a program called the community school directors.
They got to get back.
They formed that right here in Flint. I used to
Mhm.
speak to people get their PhD. Dr. Bill Cromer used to bring me in as a community activist, talk to the people about community school directors.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, the matter of fact, the bottom line is this: is that we need to make that where Flint need to have a record of saying we're the first city that made sure that Black history was taught in all the schools. See, they had when I was on the school board,
Mm-hmm.
we had over 60 schools in Flint, man. You know how many schools we got now?
What? 12?
11,
11?
with one high school.
One.
Over 60 schools. We had over 60 school community school directors, man. Now we down to 11 with one high school.
That's right.
And maybe a middle school.
Yes.
And even with your elementaries, we ain't got 11.
Mhm.
Something wrong with that, man.
It's been a lot of disinvestment. So when you talk about 60 schools that you had back when you were on the board to where we are now, I don't know if Flint is valuing education. Per se.
Now, see, here's the problem. Here's what the problem. It's all about money. See, what really hurt the Flint school district? See, when you see these plants in Flint, like Turnstead and about all them plants out there and out on Vance Lake Road, and all that plants like that. Well, you see, Flint annexed that property so that General Moses had to pay them taxes.
Right.
It's just like it ain't but two high schools ever built in Flint, and that's Northern and Central. Southwestern is outside the city, and Northwestern outside the city. Anytime you see an address with G, that's county.
Right.
But they annexed that land in, see.
Mhm.
So what they did was, when the property tax started getting low, the city cut out lower the property tax for the homeowners, okay?
Mhm.
But they didn't do it for GM. And GM, when they left, they found that out. They sued. We had to get that money back, man.
So hold on, clarify that for me real quick.
Well, see, when the city started cutting, property values going down, they cut the taxes back. But they didn't cut GM's taxes back
Why didn't they?
because they wanted that money.
GM was a big fish.
That's right. They
Okay.
were supplying. They want them. See, that's
But
the
GM,
problem.
I feel GM didn't leave Flint in the best position possible though.
No,
Yeah, folks was working, people was getting jobs and was able to take care of family. But when they left, there was no structures in place.
not only that, they sued and got their money back too. See,
That was how could we let that happen? They didn't benefit from the tax breaks from off of this city,
right, and we gave them tax breaks.
and then they come back to sue them.
And see,
I mean,
bottom.
that's capitalism at work.
Here's the thing about. Here's what you got to look at too. Is that You see, you got a situation of where you got here's GM on one hand, and here's the city over on the other hand. And see, it was a time that Flint was getting so much money. See, Hurley Hospital is a city hospital, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My mother retired from Hurley, and they gave her a check every month for 12 months, okay?
Mm-hmm.
For a pension.
Good.
But they had so much money, they gave her a 13th check.
Good.
Yeah. All this money, see?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't prepare for what's happening now.
They didn't prepare for
And now what they do, and then I was sitting there listening, talking earlier, they took away all the resources. Now they think we can't run the city, but they done took all the resources out of the city. Now they want us to run it with less than what they had, and they was throwing away money. And that's what the problem is, man.
So when you say we a city, we're under resources, and we trying to operate and function at a disadvantage.
That's right. And see the other thing too. Look at all the stuff Flint had so much stuff going for them. Like I said, at one time they had a culture center, they had a library, a WFB radio station. We had it all, man.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got nothing to show for that now.
Not yet.
Library got their own board, the culture center got their own board, and we sold the radio station.
So I just think that, when we talk about leadership is important, right?
Very important.
Leadership should have been visionary to be able to see or kind of envision where
down the
road, right? Nayyirah, as a young visionary in this community, right? We are here in the now. What do you see? Where we should take this, and what's some of the priorities Flint should put in place to reestablish its place?
I mean, politics is local, and I was like, and even though like we're in a weird space, I would say like on an international level, like it's still based on like the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict. It's like, who's controlling those resources,
Right.
Because it is like, in effect, like talking about fossil gas, and like who's going to control that and who's benefiting from that. And I mean, we're having like that same struggle, like within the state of Michigan with the resources around water. Like, who's going to control that water? Who's going to own that water? Like, what is that water going to be used for? And just thinking about like our water, here, just thinking.
One of the things that I look at too is this. Back then, let's look at who was at the table. See, General Motors was at the table, Mott was at the table. Right now, we ain't got nobody at the table but the school board.
Yeah, and I mean, like I came up through that money. I came up through like the divestment, like the long divestment and flight, of that. Like my parents moved out of Flint, and I grew up in Grand Blanc, and I moved to Flint like as an adult. But I also see, like in the midst of struggle and divestment, I still see joy, like with the people who chose to stay or can't leave, So, and I think that like, basically, all the ways where it's just like, like they're, like we've been making like treasure from trash for years. And like there's reasons why it's like Black communities who've been like surviving in communities, like those are the communities that are getting gentrified. Like nobody's like moving out and gentrifying Owasso. Like they're coming back to like like places like Chicago and Detroit and that stuff because they people see something there, like, so I think that, like, even though like we're in like crazy times, like, like we're in the second year of the critical decade of like climate change, like we're seeing like these structural fractures in ways and polarization, like it never before. But like you see people like taking their kids to school, you see like all the things that be happening on TikTok and like Black people just being beautiful, creating all these dances like on
Right.
TikTok and like doing like, and Black Twitter is like glorious, and just seeing like
It
just
is.
joy everywhere. Like it's still there, you know, like even like when people may not have like, you know, the name brands and all the food and stuff, it's still joyful. And I think that we have to like take time to be like, you know what, we been here, we gonna stay here, like we got our fam.
Mhm.
And like using that, like, and that's what I take with me. I take my fam when I go out and be like fighting on the streets and like jump into all these advocacy spaces and fighting for clean water and fighting for clean air. And it's like I do it for my fam, you know, like I do it for my nephew who is like a freshman at Michigan State, and my sister works at Genesis, and you know, like all of my friends and colleagues, because like all we got is each other, you know, like nobody's looking out for us but us.
Right.
But you know, one thing I look at too, Nayyirah, is that we're in a area of confusion now. People want to keep other people confused, and they are even working. And I know it's coming down from, you know, from the federal level to the state, now to the local level, where you getting a lot of these school districts are now having a lot of problems. And to me, that's bad. That's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and both of those things could be true at the same time, because like there's a reason why like they don't want to teach like, you know, actual history. Like there's a reason why it's like these BS policies and politics that try to keep people divided, because they know like it's stuff not gonna stand when people are united. You know, like, and that's always has been. And they had to come up with different tricks and other stuff. I mean, like, that's the reason why you have like the definition of like what white is the United States, because people like coming from Europe, like they was fighting each other over there, you know, like they nobody was white in Europe. Like it was like Irish, like the English was like jamming on the Irish and the Scottish and all that stuff. And then they coming over here. And like they get kicked out over and coming over here, and then like they unite with Black people, and they're like, oh, hold up, we can't be doing this, you know, like there's and then, you know, like there's like all the stuff that I learned about like Black history, like I never learned any of that in school. Like it was through like all like books, like then it's just stuff that you just like don't even think like there's this book called like Negro Slave Revolts that just documents like basically all of the slave revolts, the enslaved revolts before, you know, like the Civil War. And it just like, you know, and just thinking about like, you know, when people are united and fighting, like that's what's up. And like kind of like these other things is basically like to maintain that power structure. And we have to like reject that. It's like, no, that's false. That's only like plucking folks. Because even though like they want to like do this one thing where they like, oh, this one person made it, like, and like, why you still poor? Like that's not like, it should be like, no, why is there poverty? Like they try to make it like it's like some personal moral fallacy, instead of like the structure is foul and trash and it needs to be torn down. We need to create something that's actually going to benefit people and not these damn corporations. Because like I've seen like going for city council, seeing people bending over backwards for like BSGM. And it's like, no, like you need to be bending over backwards for the people who choose to live in this damn city. You know, like we got to make sure that we have like, you know, stuff that like, so we can have like, you know, like clean water. And like, you know, right now, like this water is like trash. Like I just took a shower yesterday and skin all peeling again, like it gave me PTSD and flashbacks to the beginning of the Flint water crisis. And
tell me you ain't getting rash.
But anyway, like I know that was like, I know I could like wax poetic about, you know, like all these things. And I know like I definitely want to come back and talk about like the Ajax asphalt plant and talking about air quality and
give us a few lines about it. Give us a few lines about it right now. Give us a few lines about it, because that's important.
Yeah, so like Flint Rising, like being Flint Rising, an environmental transformation movement of Flint, like Mona Monroe Eunice and Michigan United and Bishop Bernardino Jefferson with Caution. and like a bunch of other people too, like Sandra Jones, like a bunch of folks who like kind of banded together to stop like this hot mix asphalt plant that's coming off of Energy Drive, which is like on like off of Carpenter Road, which is basically on the edge between Genesee Township and Flint, like right across, like less than a mile away. And St. Francis Person. I don't know why I didn't even talk about that, but they like it's gonna be like less than a mile away from River Park and Ridgecrest. And that whole neighborhood that's like between Webster and Door Highway, right. Webster Road, Door Highway, and Carpenter Road, like that whole like little part, like, and you know, like this is like an environmental justice issue because it's already Genesee Power Station, which Genesee Power Station don't get enough like talking about, and how like they're absolute garbage because that is a wood waste incinerator. And they burn all types of stuff, and they sell that to Consumers Energy because it's owned by Consumers Energy. It's a sister corporation of Consumers Energy, and so like they spewing all these toxins, and like that whole area has had like a history of asthma. Like Genesee County like has this whole like is constantly rising to the top, you know, like of like these asthma like hospitalizations for adults and children, and that has like a whole like long-term impacts. Like I grew up over there in that neighborhood. I grew up on Eastmont, and I had asthma. Like I still have asthma, but it's like, you know, it's a whole bunch of things that like that can really change like the pathway of what your life could have been. Like instead of like riding bikes, you sitting on a nebulizer. You know, you go into the hospital all the time. Like I can't be like Baba Bryant and like being like the track star and all that stuff because
I gotta ask you to do something for me. Could you find out, and I want to find out where the next school board meeting gonna be at, and the time, the place, and the time, and have it. That's right. At least text it out to all the members.
That's right.
Because I don't want to miss that meeting. I really don't.
The school board meeting?
The library board.
The library board meeting.
Yeah. Library board meeting. Could you make sure that's text out to everybody and the time?
And I could definitely like put that down because they like it's supposed to be like next week. But let me make sure that it's not virtual, or if they're going to wait until like the library reopens. Like, so I'll make sure.
Because I know that the folks on the library board was interested in this conversation we're having today.
Yeah, well, could we if you find that out, could you just, because I don't want to miss that meeting. I want to be there. But I want to hear these folks that made me these promises to see which way they're going to go. I need to see that.
That's how you hold them accountable.
There you go.
You know, a lot of times politicians and folks tell you everything that you want to hear is about the action that they put forth behind. So I do want to see that too. Yeah. So once you get that,
I want to make sure I'm there.
Once you get, we're going to pick you up. We're going to make sure now you're going to pick me up. We're going to pick up Baba Bryant.
I want to be there. I want to be there. I'm like, I want to be in that big head.
He gonna be there. He gonna be there.
Yeah, and I feel like this is staying rent free in my head. This year is an election year for the city of Flint. You know, yes. Like we're gonna be like electing a mayor, and like this is the time right now. This is the time right now for y'all to be going in and coming up with the kind of questions you want to ask these jokers, because a lot of times, like, because democracy is like a full contact sport, because a lot of people are like, yeah, get out, vote. Yeah, you should be voting. But it's the first step of a process. You still got to be in people's face. Like, you still got to be like all the time, stalking them, like on all the ways to make sure that they following up with whatever promises that they say, you know. And you know, like, and the other thing is, like, once people are elected, like they like when they sign and fill out a petition, like their address is public information, so you can just pop over to their house and like talk to them, you know, like go to their church, you know, like you don't have to just wait until like, you know, like it's before the city council meeting or like calling that number, because it's not like they don't be answering anyway. So like, you know, like getting with your crew and figuring out where they at, and then you be there too.
You know,
and like talk to them.
Let's hone in on that real quick, right? You know what I mean? To be honest with you, you have to hold them accountable. And a lot of times we just vote people in, let them work for 2 years to 4 years, and we ain't heard nothing from them. And then they come back to us for another vote. But they can't explicitly say the things that they have worked on during that time they were in office. See, we have to do our job as a community and say, like, hey, like you said, if you're not showing up for work and doing what we need to do on behalf of the constituent base, then we need to show up at your house and your front door and ask those questions why, right?
And,
I don't think we've been that forceful. We ain't been that strong, and we got to get there.
Yeah, then it's like, the county commissioner, state rep, the governor, all them, U.S. rep, like they all up this year, like all of the state stuff, the statewide offices. So this is the time, like 2022 is the time, like as they going on their campaign trail, like you be on their trail too. Like
Real talk.
This is the year. This is the year.
Mm-hmm.
This the year. Don't just be like, I'm happy to be in the room. Like, this is not the time for the shucking and the driving. This is the time for you to be like,
why do people still be on that? They lucky to be at the table. Oh, he called me.
So this is the time where you just be like, no, this is the real talk. This is what's happening in my community. This is what's happening in my neighborhood. What the hell you gonna do about it? I'm really trying not to cuss because I know I'm on live and I know I always gotta slip. Like when I start talking, I just get real relaxed. But like this is the time because like just to be like honest, like Gretchen Whitmer has not done communities like Flint no favors. None of these environmental justice communities.
None of that.
Like we still waiting for the process to be open.
She was cussing when she got in. She said, "We gonna fix these damn roads."
I know, but it's like you're not gonna fix the damn roads on the backs of Flint residents by having this hot mix asphalt plant. And it's like at what cost you gonna fix the damn roads? Like, so you gonna fix the damn roads? Are you gonna give Michigan residents universal health care, especially those people living over at River Park? Because now they're gonna have to spell that hot mix asphalt plant by Ajax that got the contracts to fix the damn roads. Come on. So like we gotta like at what cost we gonna have people like do this shit, Exactly. And and I see a question. Poverty should not be existing in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a no. That should be a no. But it does because they don't care about poor people, They don't care about poor people. They only care about folks of just like because capitalism exists from exploitation. And if you have no value, they feel like you can't use your labor, in exchange for wages, then you're superfluous and they don't give a damn about you. So that's why we have to like shift that. No, we actually care about people and we're not doing this thing based in extraction because that's what capitalism is. It's really like extracting resources for reselling. And, so that's what it is. So I misspoke earlier when I talked about Manny Marvel's book. It's like how capitalism underdeveloped Black America, which is a classic. And
what's the name of that?
How capitalism underdeveloped Black America. Oh man. So because there are like all these books out here, I'm always looking for a book club. I have a very extensive library, especially around organizing and Black people. But anyway, I know like I kind of like went again like off on a tangent. But I think that was right on time. Like the long and the short, and kind of like bring it back, like to Woodrow Stanley. Like Woodrow Stanley always cared about young people and making sure that young people succeeded. Like always gave support to young people, like from like the youth cabinet to like other efforts, and like even though him and I like we always had. Detente because I always said that he need to talk about poor people instead of using euphemisms for saying poor people. Right. Like that was something like he would just be like, like people, or just he'll be like, people that look like me instead of say Black people. Right. But like I just felt like it was kind of like the times, the times he grew up in. Who he did was. A soft word. It was a soft word. I kind of like let that go, appreciate it. you know, you got to appreciate people for who they are, not who you want them to be.
Right.
But Woodrow always, like, you know, like always supported like people, like young people, and trying to make sure that just really inspired like generations of folks like getting into public service and giving back to their community. So even though like I wasn't around in Flint, like we had the mayor, the youth cabinet, but I do know some people who participated in that, and that was something that was transformative for their lives.
No, I would definitely say, I would second that. Like Woodrow Stanley was a big proponent of, you know, the Black culture, you know, and he always represented for the city well. And everywhere he went, you know, he had a presence when he came through the room, and I think that was
one thing about
him.
One thing I never forget about it, he did something that I'll never forget as long as I live. He renamed Forest Park Max Brennan Park. We were in a position, he didn't position to do it, and he did it. That's what we got to have. We got to do some things, not just talk about it, we got to do it.
Well, I do want to share this about Brother Wood. Wood was one of the first brothers, and I was talking with Brother Leon Elamine the other day about this. Wood was the first brother that opened up the door for me and El. Like, you know, when a lot of times we would just come back into the community, we was, you know, just coming back, returning citizens and just trying to make a difference, and starting with cookouts and doing things on a grassroots level just to make a difference. And nobody wouldn't really support us. Nobody would never come call us to the table, never provide any guidance or insight. But Wood reached out, him and along with Mrs. Deloney, reached out, made sure that we sat down and made sure we had a relationship. And I always cherished that brother for that. And so from that point in, ever since I came back to Flint, we've been locked in and always been a supporter of the work, you know, to this day. So appreciate that brother, man, for everything.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, like thinking about like how to carry stuff forward, because, you know, like Woodrow Stanley was always willing to be a mentor to me. So that means that my responsibility is I always need to be a mentor to others.
Come on.
You right. know, because like a lot of times, like when people, and this kind of goes back to the capitalism thing, but, you know, like folks may feel like they need to be protectionist, like they need to preserve their own jobs. And it's like, it's not like, you know, because capitalism is like you have this mindset of scarcity. And it's like really like it was really abundance, you know, like we have like this joy. Like I may not be able to like, well, I shouldn't even use that because I'm vegan. Like I was gonna be like, I don't have the money to eat T-bone steaks every day. I mean, I guess I could if I prioritize that, but because I'll bean burgers, I guess, you know. Right. But just thinking about like, you know, like we always have to make sure that we are like giving to others, and giving to others isn't always like you know, like you giving people cash, like, because time is like way more important than cash, because like those conversations and stuff is going to carry folks, you know, and transform and change people's lives. Because like looking at that, like that's an investment. You invest in other people, you know, and like this is like just thinking about us as vessels, and like what is people pouring into you, and what are you pouring into others?
Come on now. Come on. That's what you'll be judged on. You know, your impact on others. Not as much money that you was able to obtain during your lifetime, but what legacy you left behind, and what folks gonna say about you. Baba Bryant just said, like, you doing your funeral right now. So we live in our funeral right now.
There you go.
While we doing it and living it and talking it, right? There you go. And so, man, hopefully, man, by the end of this journey, man, folks will have some phenomenal stories that we all share with each other.
You work from sun to sun. Your work is never done. So we got to keep on working. But my main thing is this: is that we got to teach. Like Nayyirah was saying, we've got to teach. Teach. And sometimes you can teach just by showing others what you can do.
That's true.
That's right. But we're gonna get there. I've seen Flint go through a lot of changes, but we gonna get there.
I know I'm inspired. So like, you know,
I never thought 80 years ago, I used to come down, and my dad worked at this place right down there. Here it is now. I'm back here doing a program.
Yeah, hear that? So his father worked in this building.
80 years ago, he
80
came to
years
Flint. This
ago.
was his first job right in this plant right here. Summerfield Chevrolet.
See? And now the son come back full surface and do an interview on Fli-City Blackout.
Sure did.
Yeah, isn't that history right there?
That's some history, man. History.
I'm telling you. What was your father's name?
Bunyan Bryant.
Bunyan Bryant. I've heard of that name before.
Yeah, Bunyan Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my brother was named after him.
That's what he was the sports figure. Did he play sports?
No,
He's
an
an
educator.
He's an engineer with the awards. But you have other brothers too.
Yeah, I had two brothers.
Okay.
Two brothers and a sister.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah.
Now this is big. I'm just overjoyed because I hear the work that Baba Bryant's been committed to doing, and man, he's still talking about working. He's still talking about, man, I got stuff to do. I was talking to him the other day. He like, man, I'm in the basement, man, putting together my pieces for my museum.
Yeah, if you get a chance now, really go down to Metropolitan Church and see. I'm putting together a museum down. I got display. I don't know if you saw that display at Burston or not, but I'm putting one down in Metro too.
Now, what's that Burston?
Burston is sports figures. All the sports.
All the sports figures
All the
are
sports
at Burston. So go down there and check it
Burston.
out. Mhm.
Yeah. Sheila Graham putting that together for me.
Big shout out, Sheila. Thank you for that. I actually, Nayyirah, we need to go down there to Metropolitan and check that museum out.
Check that Black Jesus out.
I might have to take that Black Jesus with me.
No, you don't.
What do you
I'll
mean?
be happy for it.
I said, man, you gonna come after me.
And I need a Black Jesus though.
I'll ask the Lord to forgive me, but I'll be after you.
You need to tell all them churches to take all them white Jesus out of their church right now.
Well, I just like I told him, I don't know nowhere in the Bible where it says Jesus had blue eyes. I really don't.
You need to bring Baba Bryant back.
If you show it to me, I sure will look at it.
I ain't seen it neither. And I've read it. So
But Juan Lockhart, well, he did one heck of a painting.
He did it. He did the painting for it.
Juan Lockhart. I brought it to Arts Fair down in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
Man, he did one heck of a painting on it. You need to see that, man.
I'm going down and check it out. You said just ring the doorbell, right? Just
ring the
tell 'em I'm here
doorbell.
at the
Just
museum.
tell the secretary being there. Just tell him you want to go up and see that Black Jesus. See the display. Just look at all of it.
Becky Brown said, "Does Black Jesus have straight hair or afro?" Is that I got to know too.
Well, the Bible tell me he had hair like lamb's wood and feet like polished brass. So now I'm let you go from there.
did he really capture that though? Because sometimes even on the Black Jesus, it look like he got a perm. I don't know who be doing that.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
Black Jesus got silk pressed.
Right. Like, man, hold on. Y'all been running through this hot temperature weather.
He did,
Like, whatever that is, like I get that hair routine because my hair gets sweated out when I be going out there in the summer.
Man, when I walk through the door, my hair is all crinkly. I pressed it out before I got on the show, and now it's shortened up. It's it.
I keep what I do a lot of times. I got me a little man cave, man. I just be down there working. I'm working all the time. Matter of fact, I'm working on because next month I understand is March is Women's Month
And Black History 365 again. So big shout out to women.
Right. And what I'm doing is trying to put together the most outstanding women that came through Flint.
Oh,
The state and the state. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. Olive Beasley, she was from the state of Michigan, first human rights director. Olive Beasley. We had I'm trying to think of her name now. She was the funeral home director and the first ward commissioner.
Miss Spencer.
Not Miss Spencer. Not Miss.
Oh, not Miss Spencer. Okay.
No. It was I can't think of her name. I'm playing tricks on me. What was her name? But Moon brought the funeral home from her.
Yeah, I know you saying. I cannot think of the name
But
right
she
now.
was the first woman. Huh? No, not Wright was down on Jameson and North Street.
Hmm.
That was what was her name? Eileen Butler.
Eileen Butler.
Eileen Butler. I know. I sometimes it takes me to get my thoughts together. Takes me a little time there, but I get it.
She had the funeral home before.
Right. And then we had Vera Rising. She's a county commissioner, and let's see, Pam Lovin. She worked for GM. She's vice president of GM, and we had a lot of women, a lot of outstanding women. Miss Odell Broadway. She was the first black female to work for Mott Foundation.
Mm.
Yeah. We got a lot of. I'm putting that together now, Nayyirah.
I like,
Month of March.
was Butler? They said was Butler. Was it Butler Funeral Home?
Yeah, Butler Funeral Home.
Okay, and that was Arlene. Okay. Before Moon took it over.
It was
Butler
Irene Butler.
Okay.
Yeah, Irene Butler. Butler Funeral Home. It's in the same place it is right now. And right across from Butler Funeral Home used to be Flint Park, where we used to have our church picnics every year and had the rides and stuff over there.
I was about to say, wasn't it like an amusement park?
Amusement park. That's right. Flint Park, they call it.
I wish that I saw, that coming up. Amusement park on Flint Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I guess when you go down the street now, you just kind of maybe can envision it.
Yeah, you have to
It's
envision
so
it.
wide,
Man.
yeah.
That's why the bus used to turn around. That was city limits. Yeah.
Okay. It seemed like it was some activity going on because you got some business quarters over there on Martin Luther King and Flint Park.
Right.
So you got some staples in that area.
Right.
I could see where it could have been an amusement park.
Well,
when you continue.
amusement park.
Yeah.
Church had their picnics at, every year they had church had their picnics.
How do we get that back?
Well, one thing, they had a guy, you got to get somebody that's interested.
Mm-hmm.
They had a guy by the name Gustav Turnipseed. He went to Morehouse College.
Okay.
And Seed was the superintendent of Sunday school down on Jameson Street.
Mm.
And he smoked a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he drank a lot, see.
Okay.
But Seed would come in the pool room and we'd be shooting pool down there on Industrial and McClellan, Little Hats.
Little Hat, that's what you had to hang out at?
Seed would call us over to the corner and say, y'all come on over here.
Right.
What you want, Seed?
What you want to see?
And Seed said, one thing, he wore a shirt and tie 7 days a week.
Good.
He said, one thing, boys? We said, what, Seed? He said, white man hate to see a black man in a suit 7 days a week, boy, and I'm making them sick. Seed was something else, but he would beg him get them prizes for us. So get them prizes. Yeah, he get some prizes for us. He said, I'm making them sick, boy.
Yeah, I like that energy. I'm gonna wear a suit 5 days out of the week. Just
to make them sick.
That's like peak petty. That's peak petty energy right there.
Petty. I'm with all that right now. I'm gonna sit right next to him.
Well, I had some good times growing up in Flint. If you don't believe it, Nayyirah, you ask Liz Taylor, she'll tell you I had some good times growing up in Flint.
Tell me about Liz back.
Oh, I love hearing like the stories like from Miss Elizabeth. Like they're amazing. Like I could just sit back here and
tell me about Liz. Liz
drink some tea all day.
You know what I think?
Liz hot right now.
Liz and my brother was the same age. And Liz had a brother and my sister was the same age. But see, Liz and them, when they stayed across the street from us, her mother wouldn't let her come over to the house, but our house. I'll tell you. Yeah, see, they keep tabs on. They wouldn't let Liz come over. They wouldn't let Liz come across the street, man.
I wouldn't either.
Our house,
I wouldn't let Liz go nowhere neither.
Yeah.
You said
Liz. Yeah, we had some good times on Main Street, boy. Times the best of times, man. But we made it do.
One of the things that she talks about too, because I love Liz too. I love Miss Taylor. Miss Taylor is a phenomenal woman, right?
She's good people. She's good people.
Good people. She has been a champion for making sure that the elders get support and resources, especially with those ARPA funds coming down.
Right.
In some form of a way, we want to make sure that our elder population, which is our seasoned population, are taken care of. Right. It's some things that you all might want to do and put together and see within the community. So we want to always make sure we amplify the voice of our seniors.
But you know, Liz, and she calls me all the time. She said, "Now, Norm, make sure we got a meeting now." She gonna make sure I'm about that meeting now.
No,
But
she
my
on it.
daughter gets me hooked up on the computer.
No, she definitely on it.
Yeah, she's right on it. Yeah, she's good people. Liz, good people. Yeah, good people. Yeah, I work for her. But her dad had a grocery store, Taylor's Grocery. Then across the street, he built a bar called 50 Grand. 50 Grand bar. They call him Po Taylor.
Why you call him Po Taylor?
He told everybody he didn't have no money.
And he had all the money.
Had all the money.
Hey, you
Po
know,
Taylor.
a rich person told me that, man. You know, if you got snap, I'm sorry. If you got wealth, you know, people don't see it. Right. And you don't tell nobody you got it.
Yeah, Po Taylor.
Po Taylor.
Ernest Taylor, that was his name, Ernest Taylor.
I ain't got no money, B.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But you know, yeah, I used to work over that store. I used to help him out over that store a lot. Make my little spending change.
I used to get you together. We don't have those type of structures of folks doing that for people no more. Like we had this store over there on the south side by Lippincott, right by the NAACP space.
Oh yeah, I know
Right
what
there.
you're
Yeah, right across the street from the Regencies. But we had this store called Grandpa's. Grandpa's was penny candy. He had all the penny candy you can ask for, and I had a bunch of pennies back in the day. So like he will be able to give us all these different candies, the fruities and all this stuff, and he just asked us to sweep out the front by the store.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. We would have did that for free, just to be, you know, just to help out. But it's like staples like that. Like you talk about Mr. Taylor's grocery store, and then the 50 Grand bar, right? Those is real structures that, you know, we should definitely, I wish we had a lot more people that's kind of putting those pieces back together and making sure that it was available for the community.
Now, I got a painting that I've been trying to get, and I don't know where it's at, but when I was in the Boy Scouts of the St. John Street Center over there, old man Leaper, somebody made an oil painting of him, and he used to smoke a cigar. I don't know, when they closed St. John Street Center, I don't know what happened to that painting, man.
You still looking for that painting?
Yeah, I'm looking for, I don't know. Eventually, I don't know, maybe I might get it, I might not. But it was a beautiful painting, old man Leaper. He was our scoutmaster.
Okay.
Our scoutmaster, yeah.
Let's put an APP out for that Nayyirah. Let's see if we can locate that painting.
Yeah. William E. Leaper, the scoutmaster for St. John Street Center. He was Richard Dick's uncle.
The police captain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Richard Dick's uncle.
Okay, man. You know what? Flint has. This is why I hang with the eldersmen. They be having all the knowledge and all the information. So like, it's a lot of stuff that we be learning. Like Nayyirah, it's a lot of stuff that we be learning just in conversation and dialogue with them. Right? You hear about all these phenomenal, amazing people that played a part in Flint's rich history and what they've done. And some of these buildings still up here today was owned and occupied some of those members. So it's good to hear that.
Yeah, I didn't know what this is gonna look like coming in there, man. Like I said, I ain't been in this building since I was about 7 years old, man.
Oh, we keep it clean now.
Oh yeah,
I'm
saying there used to be cars parked all up in there, man. My dad used to work all in there, man.
We're gonna park our cars right back in there in the front. We're gonna bring it right back.
Bring it right back.
Bring that same vibe back. That's what we want to be. Make sure we get back to that. So to be honest though, you know that's what it is. It's like I know
this was a lucrative neighborhood where Job Corps is.
Yeah,
it used to be Hardick's bowling alley up there. Bowling alley used to be right.
Used to be a bowling alley right here.
Yeah, right. Right across the street over there. Where Job Corps is.
I can see that.
Hardick, he played football for Northern.
He came back and built a bowling alley.
Well, no, his family had the bowling alley.
The family had the bowling alley. Okay.
He had that when he was going to school. Hardick's bowling alley. Then Papa's bag. Papa bought it here, called it Papa's bag.
I know Papa definitely talk about that
Papa
bag.
Jared.
Yeah, Papa Jared definitely talk about that. You used to hang out in there?
No. But me and Papa brother and I, we played ball together. We was real close.
Oh yeah?
Tight. Yeah, we tight.
See?
I've been knowing Papa's family a long time, man.
And then I respect how families was connected back in the day. Y'all had a lot of brothers and sisters, so one way or another, somebody was connected with another.
Well, see, back in those days, I know, like now the Jarrett's and the Coles stayed next door to each other.
Okay.
And both of them had at least 10 to 12 kids in
Yeah.
the family.
That's how we roll.
Stayed next door to each other. They had no problem.
That sounds like that was a fun neighborhood.
Oh yeah. right on Grand Street.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett's and the Coles.
Mm.
And I was thinking the other day, how many kids, families had 5 boys in the family? A lot of them, man. Back in them days, man, had big families, man.
And nowadays it's not. We don't have as many
Well,
children.
no, but see, back in the day when my father was in the South, they had to have their kids that help run that farm, man.
That's
They
what it
couldn't
was.
hire no help. They had them kids, man.
Y'all hear that? You hear that, Junior? I need some
They
help.
had to have them kids, man. They couldn't hire no help.
Yeah, I need to run out 5 more or something because I ain't got to do. They ain't helping out enough. I'm working on my next wave. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna hit 10 in a minute now. Here.
Yes,
No, I don't know. You trying to be like Dick Caddis or like that? They try to do all that now, you know. Because I mean, like now, like health is a lot better, you know. like kids are able to survive, babies are able to survive. Because I like thinking about like my family, like you know, like at least like on my both my parents' side, you know, like there was some infant mortality, you know, so because we didn't have all the things that we got now, you know, like got a whole neonatal unit, you know, all this and birth control, you know, so both of those things.
they sterilizing our women too, so you gotta keep an eye on that. I'm fighting back. We gotta repopulate.
Yes, sir.
Nah.
Well, I guess I'm on this mission by myself.
I mean, because it's just like, you know, we expected like women to be the ones like you out there working it and then they're doing too much. You just doing too much. Just doing too much because childcare should be split, you know, amongst and it's not, you know, like it's like
women nowadays.
So it's just like. So nah.
Women nowadays pursue their occupation now before they start a family.
Yeah, and I'm proud of the women nowadays. They get into it. Definitely.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, just like I said, women is taking charge. Boy, I'm telling you.
I'm trying to tell you. I think they've been took charge.
Not taking charge.
Us, and the brothers are here. The men are here to support. Right, we here to play our role. We stepping up. You know, we want to be your equals. And
I'm supportive.
I'm supportive of it too.
House full of, I'm supportive.
So he got a house full of women, so I understand them.
Yeah, you know I'm supportive.
I need to get
Mama Bryant not gonna be able to make it back home if he didn't say something different, you know. So he may not be able to make it back home. He in a house full of women. Maybe living over there in Oak Street.
No, well, you know one thing. Now, really, don't forget me now. Make sure you get that out about that meeting now and stuff.
Yes.
Make sure you get that out about that board meeting because I don't want to miss it.
Yeah, most definitely.
I would feel bad if I miss that.
Now we ain't gonna let you miss it. Can you drop it in the chat because we about to wind it up for the night. You know, I had a very, very special time, man, with Baba Bryant and Sister.
Well, I enjoy it a bit. I really do.
Mm-hmm. You like to hang with the young folk?
Hey, I just like to listen to folks, man. I like to because I learn something every day.
Come on now.
I learn something every day, man. I like to listen to folks.
Come on now. I'm trying to tell you.
Lord gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth. I know I do a lot of talking, but I do a lot of listening too.
Come on now. My mama used to tell me all the time. I know that's right. Yeah. Hey, listen, we're gonna put that Flint Library meeting, the next meeting, which is next week, in the chat, but then also we'll circle. And then we want to continue to keep giving updates as far as this Gloria Coles initiative. We want to talk about what takes place at the board meeting next week. And then as well, what you can do as a community member to assist with this process. So, man, once again, man, big shout out. Thank you, Baba Bryant, for, just hanging out with us young folks and providing that information.
I got more time than I got money, so I'm just laying back.
Hey, listen, come on now.
I'm just laying back.
And that's when you know they got all the money. And they got all the money when they say
just laying back, brother.
Come on, man. My uncle, they be like that, man. They be pocket full of money. Nah, I just mess with you. But no, I appreciate you for just coming in and hanging with us.
Just like I say, give me a call. You got my number. You call me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I
can help anyway.
I appreciate you, Sister Shariff, for for always being an anchor and holding it down and a bright spot for our community. We love and admire you and Baba Bryant. So
I tell him, when I've given the best of my service, he'll understand and say, "Well done."
well done,
That's all
sir.
I want to say, "Well done."
Well done.
Just I like my steak. Well done.
All right. And you don't like medium rare? I mean, you don't like medium
I
done?
don't want nothing with red on it, man. I want mine well done.
Okay, real quick. I've been messing with some steaks and some lamb. And I just did one the other day. It was medium well. It was pretty good, Bob. It wasn't all red neither.
I tell the guy, make it well done.
It was reversed.
I don't tip it.
It was reverse seared. I'm gonna make you one, then you tell me what you think. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Sister Shari, we gotta take Bob out to dinner or something, man. We gotta kick it, get him a steak or something, man. Make sure it's well done. He can tell us about some more Flint history. You know?
Yeah, I hope I have a mistake. I'm gonna eat some sauteed mushrooms because once again I'll eat it. So.
He don't want that over.
Yeah, you get the Baba Bryant back. I said for me, I didn't say for everybody else. You know, I'm not proselytizing my stuff on everybody. You know?
Man, I gotta slap some A1 sauce on there for you or something. It's gotta be.
I ain't got to have nothing.
No, we gonna pour it to the table. Everybody gonna get what they like, and that's how we do.
I used to have a buddy take him out to get a steak. I asked him how he want. He said, "Just knock the horns off."
Now, is that just enough to just?
It just on the red. Knock the horns off. That's all.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that one.
No, I can't handle that.
Nah, man.
Cook my meat.
You got to cook that meat up.
We
Black brother.
I know this.
Hey, look, man, y'all been wonderful, man, and appreciate everybody in the chat. You know, we're gonna double back on this conversation. Let's set up another time for us to kind of double back, kind of get some updates and processes, right? And then also
tell Liz I said hi, Nayyirah.
Liz been on here all day.
She like lighting up the comments.
Oh, is she lighting up the comments? Oh Lord.
She all over.
Yeah, she really participating.
Millie Taylor was a businesswoman. Jesus got a silk.
That's her mama. That's her mama.
She be taking shots.
That's my girl.
She's up now, man. Hold on now. Mrs. Deloney called on us too.
Oh, did she?
Yep. Max Brandon, the largest park in Flint. Okay. Yep. How capitalism exploited black families. Yep. She on point.
Max Brandon is the largest park in Flint.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So like I say, that's where the old Flint Zoo used to be. We used to go down to the zoo all the time, man.
And she said, please bring back Mr. Norman soon. So, yes, we will do that. Creative expressions, Miss Sheila.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So we'll be back soon. We'll be back in the mix. We'll get that information for the next meeting out to the public. And then also continue to keep tuning in to Fli-City Blackout. We ensure, if you can, we appreciate you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. You got a YouTube, Baba Bryant?
No, I don't.
You sure? You got email?
I got email.
Okay. We're gonna set you up a YouTube too, so you can check
it. I got email.
So
I'll let you get with my daughter.
I got you. I got
all that. I don't
I gotta
take care of all that stuff.
Okay. And then so please continue to like, subscribe, provide insight, comments, and then also what you would like to see on the show. Some topics we need to expand on, something we need to bring in, or somebody we need on the show. Please let us know. Chris said eat some goat. Goat is good too. I eat goat. I eat goat in Haiti. You'll like that now. Maybe I'm gonna bring you a piece of goat back too.
No, I've ate meat before. It's not like I've been plant-based my whole life. So, but I mean, I've eaten goat. I had goat, curry goat. So yeah,
curry goat is good.
I had goat when I was in Africa. I had some goat. They put it in the ground and cooked it in the ground, man.
That's good stuff. What part of Africa you went to?
I went to Zimbabwe and Tanzania.
Beautiful place. Tanzania, beautiful place. Zimbabwe market crash, economy crash just a couple years ago.
Yeah, I went to Arusha, Tanzania, and we landed in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And then we overland to Arusha, and then from Arusha we come back to Kenya and flew on down to
Nairobi, Kenya is like more built up than New York. See how them skyscrapers? I was there in 2019.
Kenya, Kenya, they got cars,
Kenya is built up.
traffic lights, and everything else.
They super built up.
Now, Tanzania is a very, very country that's very, very old country, man.
Okay. All right. Well, we gonna go ahead and wrap it up here in the studio. Thank you again, Nayyirah Shariff. Thank you again, Mr. Norman Bryant. We'll look to have more conversations, talk about this, and really kind of get to it. So, you all has been very special. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate you all. Chris, Phil, Becky Brown, appreciate everybody. Miss Liz Taylor, Mother Deloney. Big special shout out to the Woodrow Stanley family, Audrina and Miss Retta Stanley. And also, so sweet, you all are in our prayers. We love you. We showering you with all type of, support, and whatever you need from the community, you got it, right? So just reach out as soon as you feel comfortable enough. We're here for you. And also, big shout out to Miss Gloria Coles. We appreciate all your efforts and contributions, and we'll continue to keep this fight going on. See, one thing for sure, and I'll end with this: when you've done your job, when you did a job well done, like Baba Bryant said, the community is gonna champion you anyway. So when you do your work, people gonna ride for you, make it happen for you anyway. They're gonna put your name on buildings. They're gonna show you all the love when they see you out in the street. They're gonna want to hug you, take pictures with you, because you really are respected. Now, if you don't get that response, you must be doing something wrong. All right, now, man, definitely, man. We're gonna tap in with y'all on the next one, man. See y'all next Thursday. Fli-City Blackout, A10 News Media, Black Lives Matter, City of Flint, Flint Rising, African American Sports Hall of Fame. We out of there. Let's get to it. We do this on the end. Blackout. Say do that. Blackout. All right.